Welcome to Lalicia Say My Name Bitch Podcast. Well, what we say ain't for play. No matter your position in life, baby, we all will elevate. I say. So with that being said, y'all know I check out my notes. Mental illness is really your body's reaction to addiction. Let me go ahead and elaborate on that one. So with that being said, what I feel like, kind of going to my rant that I just did, I was talking about how my body will react at a certain time of the season, and what I would do to cope with that is smoke. Now, with that being said, a lot of times we go through traumatic things, and they say because of those traumatic things causes us to go through or feel the way we feel. However, in my opinion, if you think about it, say since I was beat on by my mother as a child. Anywho's, if I was beat on by my mother as a child, and as an adult, when I became older, I became, aggressive, always fighting. And to cope with that, every time I fought, I get riled up, I get angry, and I'm, fighting back. And besides that, you can't fight everybody back, and everybody's not going to want to fight you back. So when you don't get the opportunity to fight that person back, you still become angry. So you get to drinking, you get to smoking, and those feelings are intertwining with those drugs. Now, you don't have that drug because you became addicted to that drug. In my opinion, that's where mental illnesses come from, because as soon as you don't have that drink, as soon as you don't have that cigarette, as soon as you don't have that blunt, what people do, they get crazy. You got some people that smoke to the point where when they don't have their blunt, they go blip the blur. They can't go out the door with a blunt. And I mean, granted, a lot of people say marijuana isn't a drug. Maybe another subject for another day, but I'm going to touch it right here, right now, because this is my point. Food is even a drug. If you can be addicted to it, it's a fucking drug. And I don't mean to drop an F-bomb, but it is what it is, because a whole lot of my people will sit up there and say, oh, weed ain't a drug, weed ain't a drug, weed a plant. But bitch, let me tell you this. When you get that plant, a lot of times, because a lot of people, what we call, what our people like to be like, oh, I don't smoke homegrown. But you prefer to get this package of smoke that you got from you don't even know, which they probably sprayed and did whatever they did. Well, I'm getting off topic here. My phone went black on the screen, went black because I'm talking too much. But with that being said, they done put whatever additives that they want to put in. Just Google additives, y'all, if y'all know what I mean. But they done put whatever stuff they want to put on there to the point where it came from a plant. It's a plant that came out the ground, but they just sprayed and did and added all this other stuff to the point where this weed system is monopolizing our economy, our community, our people, to the point where we feel like we have to have it, gotta get it. You now wondering why you're so addicted to it. Bitch, that's an addiction. That's a drug. Just like the alcoholic, they go to the store 8 o'clock in the morning. I only got a swig of whiskey left. Let me go ahead. I'm talking about myself. I only got a swig of whiskey left. Let me go ahead on and go to the store at 8 o'clock in the morning so I don't run out. That's an addiction. That's a drug. That kind of goes back to another subject in the past. I don't think I posted it. I don't think it has been posted yet, because I definitely recorded it, just haven't posted it. But with that being said, that relates to your mental illnesses. Now, like I said, this is podcast session, and I like to say we focus on solutions around here, and that solution to that, don't try to go cold turkey, be like, damn, I did start smoking when my daddy started raping me. That was dark. It ain't happened to me. My dad ain't do that shit. But ooh, I shouldn't have laughed. But no, for real, that shit happens. Like, it happens. I don't know. Not to me though. And I think my humor or the reason why I laugh is a coping mechanism to when I've been hurt. And because I just did that very inappropriate thing, I'm gonna go ahead and have a vulnerable moment and share that. I wasn't raped by my dad, I'm molested by my dad. However, I do feel like my dad didn't save me when I was in a situation where I was a child and it was his responsibility. When I feel like I was his responsibility, he wasn't there to save me. So I apologize for laughing, y'all, but that's my coping mechanism. See, I laughed again. I don't know, but with that being said, instead of dealing with the issue, instead of going to tell on your granddad or your dad or your uncle, you just start smoking weed, and you smoke weed, and when you don't smoke weed, you lash out, you get to crying, you get to tripping, or when you do try to stop, you get depressed, so you get into these phases where you want to kill yourself because you're really dealing with what the fudge you've been going through. Like, I mean, it might be hard, but have the right support system around you. Don't have people around you that, and it's hard to say because I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready to sit up here and say, don't have people around you that's gonna talk about you or air your shit out as soon as you get to beefing with them. I got people to this day, I don't air this stuff out. I'm a firm believer in karma. Very firm believer in karma because a lot of people have did some crazy things and I just whatever. But like I said, we're focus on the solution to mental illnesses and drugs because I feel like mental illness is just a thing they want a diagnosis with and they give us actual drugs. But we use street drugs to cope with them, and they try to give us other drugs to even deal with it, and it makes it worse. But with that being said, don't go cold turkey. So if you've been using them pharmaceutical drugs, by all means, wean yourself off that shit. Don't just up and to go off of it because I feel like that's where I fluked up at real bad because I was having some real bad episodes, really bad episodes to the point where I didn't know who the F I was. I didn't. I'm like, why am I acting like this? Why am I doing this? And that that stuff don't react. It doesn't counteract well with alcohol and stuff and weed. Because with that being said, like I said, and I say this all the time, I never really did it. I never really did. Like I did something. I did pop pills, y'all. But not as a habit. Like I popped it, just to have a little fun here and there. But anyway, stop on being serious. But with that being said, I did do my pharmaceutical drugs, and then I did have my alcohol, and it didn't mix well. Sometimes I felt like I was higher when I did my pharmaceutical drugs with the alcohol, and it just didn't work well together. And with that being said, they created a real bad problem. And even some of those pills will say, don't even do caffeine while you're on them pills. And at one point, I did have a caffeine addiction. I think I tried to stop smoking weed, and I just was taking Red Bull. I gotta answer that, y'all. But I was just doing a whole lot of Red Bull because I felt like it was safer because I was drinking Red Bull and alcohol, and I stopped drinking the alcohol to the point where I was just drinking the Red Bull, and I mean, it wasn't good. So don't go cold turkey. Just wean yourself off that shit. And when you wean yourself off that stuff, basically you have to meditate. You have to do your daily affirmations. When you feel like, okay, well, I know that I started shooting up when my mama died. And you shoot up every day or 3 times a day. Instead of shooting up 3 times a day, shoot up once a day. Start your day with your affirmations. Get yourself to the point where you can't stand it no more and you get your shit. I mean, I don't know. I think this might be bad advice. Who knows? Like I said, I'm not a doctor, just an opinion. This is all opinions. All opinions. When you get to that point you can't do no more, you do what you gotta do. And you get through the rest of your day. However, when that next day comes, you try to do a little bit better. It's all about progress. Like I said, the difference podcast here that I just recorded, like, give yourself a little bit of credit. Like, shit, me, I could be like, shit, I drank like 2 bottles in 3 weeks. And that sound like fraud. I'll be drinking. When I was drinking, But anyway, to the point. You can be like, shit, I drank like 2 bottles in 3 weeks. Then it turned into, oh, I drank 1 bottle in 3 weeks. I'm drinking no bottles. One bottle a month, or whatever the case may be, and that's always better. So, another point, and I'm glad I looked at my notes because a lot of times I forget my points of what I'm going to say. But when you do these things, when you wean yourself off, you suffer. If you don't go cold turkey, I'm gonna say this: when you go cold turkey, you suffer because at the end of the day, you want that fucking craving, you want that drink, you want that whatever your get high is. And the people around you suffer because they have to deal with that nasty ass attitude. And granted, hopefully you don't have children. Now I have children, so me trying to go cold turkey off of alcohol is pretty much bad for the household. As the mother, it's bad for the household. I'm not just the sister. I'm just not the auntie. I'm not just the person visiting the mother. That's bad for the household because the kids have to endure that angry behavior because I'm going to be angry and cranky. The husband, if there's a husband in the picture at the time, he has to endure that angry behavior because I'm going to be angry and cranky, and he's going to probably feel like, oh, I can't sleep with her, I can't touch her neck. It creates more tension because this not even just this is not just focusing on the woman, this focus on men too. As a man, how would you feel if your woman don't want to give you none because she's so angry because she's going through withdrawals, and then you scared to touch her because, come on now, y'all, like us women, come on now, that's not fair. That's not fair. Now, not to say he shouldn't be more sensitive or what's the word? Feel what we're feeling. However, he definitely should, be able to have a fair shot of whatever's going on. Like, yeah, she going through her withdrawals, but baby, can I touch you? Like, no, he shouldn't be scared to do that, especially not his spouse. So, cold turkey is definitely not something I suggest. I suggest weaning off. It's not the problem, but how we cope. So that's kind of already what I said. It's not like you getting abused is the problem. It's how we cope with the problem. Because everybody has problems. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is going to be A1 perico through the whole thing. I don't even know what perico means. Please forgive me if I'm saying something vulgar or wrong. And I hate when I pop my mouth like that. I can't help it. I realized on a lot of my videos I did it on TikTok, like all my voice. Anyways. So everything's not even be perfect. It's not what we're going through. It's how we cope with it. Like, granted, you might have to deal with an eviction. You got evicted, now you gotta go stay with your sister. So now it's just like, oh, I feel bad. So you're like, shit, your sister smoke. You're not even a heavy smoke, but come on, sis, I gotta spark you up so you don't feel no type of way with me living in your house or nothing like that. And you start an addiction. So you to the point now where you don't smoke, it's a problem. So using certain method causes addiction. So instead of buying drugs, buy medicine or food. And by medicine or food, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I've been reading this book and I've been down into it. I've been digging into it. Now, my other races might not like this book. But with that being said, I did want to really point out these things. So any, African American people out there, whatever you want to call yourself, African American, Native American, because I ain't gonna lie, lately I've been telling myself and my son, hey baby, we got some Native Americans. They might got a little black in us, but we were Native Americans. But our ancestors were here before they were here, Y'all know what I mean, babe. Anywho's, no shade to nobody. I know some people, and like I try to tell my children, you got some people, they're here for us. You got some people, they don't want to be around us. And you got some people, they just deal with us. With that being said, getting back to the point. So, just let me know if this relates to you. And this is coming straight out the book, y'all. Straight out the book. I'm not doing no funny money. So, just let me know if it relates. But, it says snack food groups. The type of food and an emotional addiction factor. So instead of buying those drugs that we buy, maybe we can buy this food. However, this food is something else we can be addicted to, but it's better than It's a better alternative than going to harsh drugs. My opinion, I'm kind of going against what the book is saying. The book is telling us not to do these things, but I'm just saying this is the alternative, the better alternative. And once you get to that point where you're in the book, you actually go read the book and feel what the book is saying, and then you go into the better alternative. Okay, all right, back to it. So it says Brady relieves feelings of insecurity and soothes dissatisfaction. Chewy relieves tension, stress, and need to slow down and unwind. Creamy helps satisfy needs to be nurtured and comforted. Crunchy helps relieve anxiety and social pressure caused by culture abrasion. White control. That's why I say y'all might not like this book, because this book is on deep shit. Anywho's, salty redirects anger, frustration, violence. Sugary helps satisfy the need to give and or receive love. So with that being said, if you feel like any of those things relates to your emotions, and you feel like one of those people who like to eat snacks all the time, or who like to do things and you feel like they might not be so healthy because you only doing it because of emotion, let me know if that relates to you. But like I said, I say we lean off the drugs, go more to food, and besides going from food to here, you know, it's just a step. It's a step. No cold. We don't promote no cold turkey around here because nobody's perfect. Nobody can do it overnight. Ain't nobody. I already say we ain't no god or goddesses, but that's a whole nother subject or a subject for another day. But anywho, with that being said, that's my whole point. That's the whole matter. That's just what it is. I feel like we really don't have no mental illnesses. I feel like our mental illnesses just comes from how we deal with our addictions, because what we use to cope with our traumas. Because the trauma is what caused the mental illness. And the mental illness is something that they diagnose because of how we react to the trauma. However, the trauma causes us to cope, and how we cope is the addiction. And with that addiction comes, like I said, withdrawals. It comes mental imbalances. When you smoking and you not smoking, you have a mental imbalance when you don't smoke. And I really want to start a group on Facebook, and I'm gonna do it after this video right here, and I'm gonna post this video in that group, because I have so many queens on there. They just be like, oh, I'm so depressed, I'm so like, bitch, get the fuck off that shit. Don't stop even saying that you're depressed. You might say, hey, I'm going through the motions right now. Oh, I'm feeling it right now. Be in tune, be aware. I already say this. Be in tune, be aware of what you got going on in there. Because this is right here is the most powerful thing you have. A lot of people say when you need to lose weight, or your stomach need to be smaller, or when I need to get my it all starts with your brain. It all starts with your brain. So with that being said, the solution for this mental illness thing, y'all stop claiming mental illness. And I mean, granted, hey, there's some things that are visibly an illness. I'm not taking it away from nobody. They're visibly illness. And I have some of my seeds have a visibly illness. Now, with that being said, it's just like, I'm not taking away from that. However, if you're one of those people that, oh, I'm depressed, what do you do when you're depressed? What do you do when you're not depressed? What are the differences there? What is going on in your mind, and what are you taking into your mind? So think about those things. And that's my solution for today, because this is Alicia Say My Name Bitch podcast. But what we say ain't for play, and no matter your position in life, baby, we all gonna elevate.